Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about how you decide where you want to travel. I'm going to give you 5 tips and ways that I consider when I'm planning my next trip. So let's talk about it. Number one, the first thing I look at is where do I want to go? So maybe you have a bucket list. Maybe you've watched some travel videos and they've shown some really cool places that you'd like to see. Maybe you've read some blogs. So how you decide where you want to go? Well, if you're like me, your list is long and I have lots and lots of places I want to go. In fact, I retired a year ago so I could start traveling, and I am traveling more all the time. I've traveled for years, but I've always had to travel when school was out because I worked with the school system. Now I can travel anywhere and anytime I want to go. So I have some things that I think about each of my trips before I decide where do I want to go. The next thing I consider is when to go. So you could go during shoulder season. Shoulder season is a couple of months before the busy tourist season and a couple of months after the tourist season. So, if you're free to travel whenever you'd like, you might want to consider shoulder season because the temperatures are usually still good and it's going to be a little bit cheaper to go during that time. Maybe you have to work and you only have a certain time of year to go. So you have to think about where you could go during that time period. You also have to think about the temperature and uh, when to go. So you could go when, if you like really hot weather, you could go when it's hot. If you don't like it really hot, then you could uh, maybe go in the fall or in the spring, depending on where you want to go. You also had to think about festivals and holidays and what's going to be happening in that country or state or wherever you want to travel to. The third thing that I consider when I am trying to plan a trip is what do I want to see? So sometimes I may heard that, for example, Vietnam is exciting, but I'm not sure what I want to see there. Well, how do I decide that? Well, I watch YouTube videos, I read blogs, I ask ChatGPT where I should go. I do Google searches. Maybe I look at travel books. So I look at all of those things so I can get an idea of what do most people like to see in that area, and maybe what some other things that other people might not necessarily want to see, and maybe I want to see that. So you have to look at all these different things to get a good idea of what it is that you really want to see. The fourth thing that I consider is how long do I want to stay? Well, I think about after researching all those things about what do I want to see, that's going to give me an idea of how long do I need to stay. Maybe I look at the top 3 or 4 locations in a country and what are the things to see in each of those, and how fast do I want to travel? Do I want my day jam packed where I'm going to see things all day long? Or do I want to see maybe a couple of different things in one day? Or do I not want to plan at all and I just want to wander around? So you have to think about all of those things when you're deciding how long to stay. What do I want to do? What do I want to see? How long is that going to take? Do I need any downtime? Am I going to need a couple of days to recover from jet lag before I start traveling? Personally, when I decide how long I want to stay, I don't really like my days jam packed, although I don't want to miss anything for sure. So I might pick one major activity in the morning, another activity in the afternoon, and then leave some free time in the middle to see other things. Maybe I just have a list of things that I can see if I have time. So that all of those things together help you decide how long you want to stay. The fifth thing that I look at is cost. How much is it going to cost me to go there? So I'm going to look up some flights from Google Flights, and I'm going to think, okay, how much are flights? Typical flights for this area at this time of year. That'll give you a good idea of cost. Then you're going to look up some hotels and where do you want to stay? And I personally like to stay in the city center because I like to be able to walk to all those different locations easily of things I want to see. So you could get on Google Maps and you could pinpoint the areas of the things that you want to see and look in that general area for a hotel, and then look up some hotels in that area to see how much they are per night. Then you look at cost of activities. So you're going to go back to what do I want to see and how much of those things going to cost me to be able to see those. So I just start making a list of those things that I think I'd like to see and how much they probably would cost me per day. And then you'd want to get a good idea maybe of how much food is there. What is a meal going to cost me? Add all those things together and then think of transportation while you're there. Am I going to taxi everywhere? Am I going to walk everywhere? Am I going to be on trains or buses? Or what are my options for transportation and how much do I think that I'm going to spend for all those? So I take all that information. Where do I want to go? When do I want to go? What do I want to see? How long do I want to stay? And how much is it going to cost me to stay there? And I add all of that up and I think about my budget and what's going to fit into my budget. And is that destination going to be too expensive? So maybe I need to cut some days there, or maybe it's going to be less than I think, and I can add some maybe day trips to some other locations while I'm there. So I consider all these things when I'm thinking about where I want to travel next and how much is it going to cost me for sure. So I hope this gives you some idea of how you could plan your next vacation and what are some things that you might want to consider while you're thinking about where you want to go. If you think of some other things that I didn't mention, could you put those in the comments below? And please like and subscribe for more travel content. Thanks. See you soon.